yourself if you hit me too hard.
And we back. 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 And we back.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Millennials Podcast. It's your girl, Lindz. I have my guest host, Erv, the CEO of Traklife, to my left.
What's up, everyone?
And today's going to be a very special episode because we have a special guest, Ronnie Boy Kids, in the house. Ronnie Boy.
Hey, don't forget the slogan.
What up, Ron? How you doing?
Chilling like a villain. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. I know you're feeling really good because you just dropped a brand new project.
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Ronnie
My third
Boy.
full-length album called Ronnie Boy Land.
Ronnie Boy Land, and it is a banger.
Yeah. Why Ronnie Boy Land?
I think a lot of the tracks on this album are just like, what would I do if I was running the game? Like if this was my world. And I just thought Ronnie Boy Land just fit perfectly. It's like my version of a utopia kind of thing, you know?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you have a title track, or is that just the name of the album?
I do. I was developing a show about myself and like things I put up on YouTube, and it's called Ronnie Boy Land. So we actually made a theme song for it.
Oh, dope.
It has like a 90s like kind of vibe to it, like shows like Martin, Wayne's Brothers and stuff.
Oh,
It sounds
yes.
just like that, but similar to that. But it's about Ronnie Boy Land.
I
you
love
played
it.
that for me before.
Yeah, I gotta play that. Yeah.
Oh, sick.
I
Okay.
love that you pull from your childhood and like the sounds of nostalgia from when you were a boy,
Yeah.
you know. And so with us listening, we listen to some of it here. It's just like timeless, like new jack, R&B, just like fun pop
Yeah.
music. And I love that you pulled from that because that is like classic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like those styles of music will never like die, and so as long as I find or any artist in general finds ways to use them, but also just make them a modern version, you know?
Mhm. Now, I like how, in terms of your approach to music, I like how you're not trying to make something you think kids will like, but it all stems from somewhere genuine to you, like something you like.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, right? It's supposed to like, I wonder what kids these days are gonna like, and I'll make that.
Yeah.
So I like how it's from a really authentic place, and I think that makes the music even that much better.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I think if you sit there and you try to figure out what kids would like, I think that just makes the whole process difficult, because the thing is, no one knows what kids like. Have you seen like a kid or watched any of your kids or nephews or nieces like on their tablets or iPads scrolling?
Yeah.
I watch like my nephews and my niece. I'm like, why are you watching that? Like, why do you
Yeah.
like that? That's dumb. Why do you like that
Right.
video? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, it doesn't make sense. So it's like, it's too difficult to figure out what they like. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just do what I like, put a little kid twist on it, and hopefully the kids like it, you know?
Hey, my
Yeah.
kids love it. Even though I still catch them watching videos of like people playing video games thinking it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
No, you're just
Ah.
watching someone play video games,
Yes.
and that's not a TV show.
Yeah.
It's entertaining
Yeah,
enough
it's
for
like,
kids.
why?
Yeah.
But they like it. It doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah. But
Okay.
I don't know. But you know what? They play Ronnie Boy all the time. So,
Sweet.
but I don't know, man. They love it.
I want to know where you get your concepts from. Like when you sit down to write a song for Ronnie Boy Kids' new album
Yeah.
or your next project, what inspires your music and your writing?
Honestly, most, if not all of my songs come from like a personal experience. Either something I experienced or something I thought of, like from childhood up until now. And I thought that I think would make like an interesting song. And so on the new album, we have, everything from Being in Time Out, my New Jack Swing song,
Man.
to just simple concepts like family,
Mhm.
and the importance of it, to, like, for instance, I went to this movie that, this documentary by this guy named Jack Tempchin. It's called Midnight Jack, and he wrote a couple songs with the Eagles,
Ooh.
and he's friends with Jason Mraz, so Jason Mraz invited, like, a bunch of people to it. Not that many people it was very, like, intimate and stuff, and I was there. And I went there hoping that I would find inspiration just watching that documentary. And at first I was like, yo, this is wild. I was like, what is this? Because it was wacky as hell.
Uh-huh.
And then I didn't know if I was going to be able to take anything from it. But then like early on, maybe within like 10, 15 minutes, I realized, oh, this guy's spitting nuggets. Like this is his brain and how he gets inspired to do music and stuff. And then he was
Wow.
just saying all kinds of things to the point where I was taking notes on my iPhone.
Wow, while you were
because I was
watching
like,
the
I could write
documentary.
songs about this. And so one of the things he talked about was the concept of boredom. And he just said like, sometimes we look at boredom as like, dang, if you're bored, then you have nothing going on with your life, and that really sucks. But the truth is, as a result of being bored, it makes you think, try, act, or do. Think about when you're driving like in a car and you put like a podcast on, you're like feeding your brain. Why? Because maybe you're bored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it makes you like have these like reflective moments where you think about what you want to do, you know what I mean? Or what you've done in the past that you need to fix. And so boredom isn't a bad thing. And so I went home and I wrote this song called I'm Bored, and that's okay, in parentheses.
Wow.
Yeah, so hopefully, hopefully he listens to this. I'll try to get it to both Jason and Jack, and hopefully they hear it and
Nice.
like it.
Oh, I'm sure they'd be like stoked to hear that you were inspired by that tidbit in the documentary. So that's awesome. That's what I like. We attended your last listening party for Ronnie Boy Kids, and there were some concepts in there that I wouldn't have expected in a kid's song. So like how you're writing about boredom. In your last album, you wrote about how it's okay to be quiet and shy. And that to me, like it kind of like touched me somewhere. Like on the inside, I'm like, this is good because it's letting kids know that it's okay to feel different ways at different times and to not always like be like out there and super boisterous. You can be yourself. So I enjoy that you touch on different like aspects of children's lives and people's lives too.
Sweet.
I'm glad I didn't know about that song, especially like that's so relevant considering that people want to be loud and with like social media
in the spotlight
and
attention.
Yeah, it's all about attention.
Yeah. And it's
crazy.
cool that like not just like kids but adults like yourselves could relate to it, and I was thinking about this earlier today, like why, just asking myself again, why am I doing children's music? And I look at everything I do as like therapy, almost like a guide, almost like a best friend, but in music form.
Wow.
Because like, for instance, with the song Quiet, I wrote that for kids who are quiet and maybe want to speak more, but then they're too shy or they're not ready yet to speak, so the whole point of it is really like, you can start speaking at your own pace when you feel like it. Not because people are telling you to, or because people are making fun of you. Forget other people. Do it when you're ready, at your pace, So hopefully, like, especially on this new album, I have so many tracks where I feel like just really speak to children, and I try to be like not as preachy as possible, but just have really good themes, really good things that we thought of as little kids, but I put a cool like spin on it. Bangers,
Exactly. I mean, like the tracks that you have selected for your songs, it's like it kind of balances it out. It balances the serious with like the fun, let's dance, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like, I guess my question for you is, are you targeting a different age group with this album as you were with the previous two?
Yeah, not intentionally, but I realized in listening to these 14 tracks that I have right now, I would say they're probably for a little older, which is funny because the first album was an introduction. It was called It's Me, Ronnie Boy, and we had a lot of very like young, targeted songs like I Like Your Hair, Tummy Time, the cleanup song about cleaning up your toys and stuff. And then the second album was called Big Kid Now. And I did that because it was more mature in terms of sound and meaning. But this third one is kind of like a mix between the two, because we do have silly songs in it, but we do have a lot of meaningful ones as well. And so I don't know. I think a lot, I would say sound wise and maybe lyric wise, maybe a little old, maybe like 6 to 12 probably.
Okay.
Nice.
But you never know, because there's little kids who like Tummy Time, and I'm like, why? You're not even a baby anymore. But for some reason, a lot of like little kids from like 2 to 5 like watching Tummy Time. They like watching other little babies. And I didn't know that was gonna happen. I thought they'd be like, that's dumb. You know what I mean? But you never know what kids are gonna like.
what kids are gonna like. That's true.
And I told you too, with your song Time Out.
Yeah.
My son loves it, and my son's 7 years old, but my daughter doesn't like the song.
Hates it.
She hates it, and she's 5. But then, like you said, it's more geared towards an older, I guess, audience.
Yeah.
And because my son likes it because it makes being in timeout fun, and he kind of digs into the lyrics.
Yeah.
But Lana hates it because she said, "Oh, I don't like this song because I don't like Time Out."
Right.
She only sees it or hears it at a surface level.
Right.
From what she could understand.
Yeah.
As opposed to Levi, who's 7, who could really, take in the lyrics and hear what it's about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, okay,
I
I get that. It makes sense why this album is geared towards
right.
a different age group from the previous one.
Isn't it so interesting just to see how different kids at different ages like perceive the music? Like I know I wrote a new song on my album called Sticks and Stones, and it's an anti-bully song. Yeah. But on my last album, the reason I wrote Sticks and Stones is because on my last album, I have a song called Move Back. If you saw the music video, I'm dressed in like a ladybug outfit and a crab outfit, and it's ridiculous. And I'm like fighting with someone or fighting back to someone who's bullying me kind of thing. And I remember our friends, Audra and Amador, or Audra told me that at one point, like her daughter, Renly, was requesting that song, Move Back, for a while. And then I was like, why? And then she was like, I think she might be going through something at school, and so maybe someone was talking mean to her or saying some, mean things and stuff. So, and at the time, I think Renly was 4, because I think she just turned 5. So I'm like, wow. Someone who's 4 understands my anti-bully song, because that song is very mature. That's way above her age range. So I'm like, yeah, can you believe that? Like, some little kids like get the music, and
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me feel a certain way too. I mean, I'm glad that she has that song to kind of like give her a little bit of comfort if she is going through a tough time with maybe a classmate or something. Right. So at least she has that song to kind of like give her a little bit more like maybe confidence and like comfort.
And that's the hope and goal with, I'm not just making music just to make music because I like doing music. No, like I want my music to speak, it's music with a message. And just bringing it back to being therapeutic. Like one of the tracks on the album is called Heaven. And that one is about like, when we were younger and like things like 9/11 happened and stuff, I always wondered like what these little kids who had parents who might have passed away or a sibling or a pet, like what they were supposed to do with their emotions because they're little. Like when I was in kindergarten, my uncle who was 13 at the time died. And my mom just like told me, hey, your uncle died. And I was just like, oh, well, that's sad, but then they were going to throw me into therapy to process these things. So when our parents told us these tragic things, like we just go on with life, but then not realizing that kind of stuff affects us. We carry that stuff with us.
Sticks with you.
So I wanted to make a song that could comfort kids and even adults who listen to it, to know that they're, it's an inspirational song. It's letting them know that their feelings are valid. They're not weird. And hopefully they can look at it as a comforting kind of thing,
Yeah, I think for us as adults, we always think, oh, kids' lives are so simple, this and that. But as you kind of go through your track list and how it pertains to certain situations for kids, their lives aren't that simple. They go through they have their own problems, like how adults have our own problems, like bullying. Yeah. Like we forget that, oh, that's a thing. Right. That kids go through loss. That's a thing we don't really pay attention to. And it's probably even tougher for them because they're like, how do I process this? Right. And how do I handle it?
Personally, I feel kids process emotions at a heightened level way more than us as adults. Because like when they're hurt by something, they cry like so hard. You know, when they're happy by something, they're like smiling and they're and that's what I love about kids is that they're very transparent. So even if I played a song for them that they didn't like, they'll tell me. I'll see it in their faces. And so so that's why it's like it's important to have, good stuff out there, not just music, but good content, because there's a lot of bad stuff out there. They're getting influenced by like brainless things that aren't good for them in the long run kind of thing. And so this is my way of combating that and fighting the good fight and trying to put some cool stuff, meaningful stuff out there,
Nice.
That's what's up. So in terms of like your album, like we're obviously telling people about it. What songs would you suggest to people coming across it for the first time? Like which
out of all the albums or like the new one?
Ronnie Boy Land.
To listen to first?
Yeah, if you want to hook them in to like listen to the whole album, which one would you suggest first?
Geez.
There's really a lot of people that's being put onto your album for the first time right now.
Yeah.
But if they heard this one song first, they might not want to hear the rest of it.
Right. That's a great question, man. Without talking about this album, I realized this morning that I always tell people to listen to Burger. kids and adults. I'm like, oh, you should. Hey, my name's Ronnie Boy. I'm a children's musician. You see my song Burger on YouTube. It's one of my most streamed songs like worldwide. But then for this one, I do have a follow up to that called Pizza. But I don't think I would tell people to check that out. I would tell them to check out maybe Time Out.
Time Out is so good.
Even though that's a song, the song is about like owning up to your mistakes and learning from them and hoping that you don't make the same mistake twice so you don't end up in Time Out, And even though that's like, it isn't necessarily a happy song, like I think the production and the style, it's a New Jack Swing song, just sounds so good that I would want people to hear it,
Yeah.
So if it is an adult asking me what I should check out, I would probably tell them to check out Time Out. And if they were feeling something like more feel-good vibes, probably the song I did with Jeremy Passion called Family.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How did you link up with Jeremy Passion for that song?
Oh, man. So I've known at least who Jeremy was the past like 2 decades since he dropped Lemonade in like 2005, 2006. And I've met him like 3 or 4 times at shows throughout the past 15 years, maybe something like that. But then I found out like a couple of years ago, because we would send each other messages every once in a while, but he's super big. So I'm sure like 1 billion people send him messages. But his 2 sons are really, really big fans of Ronnie Boy. And so when he first saw, I think it was the Cleanup song, the very first music video I ever dropped, he was just like, whoa, what is this? Like, who's doing kids music like this? And, I was a new kid on the scene. Like, no one is. I'm the guy, and so he checked out some of my other songs and he liked it. And so every music video I dropped after that, Monsters Beware, Burger, Good Day, like all that stuff, like they really liked it. And so I thought it would be cool even 2 years ago when I first started to work with him one day, because I look up to him so much, and respect him so much. And so when it came time to doing this album, like I think maybe it was because we finished the album in 12 weeks, all 14 tracks. So I think I asked him maybe a month into it, like, hey man, would you want to work together? And thinking he probably would say no because he's huge, what I mean? But like, no, he graciously was like, dude, absolutely.
Wow.
And I think it's a good look for him because his kids are such huge fans of mine.
Yeah.
Funny story is when he visited about a month ago, like he was down here working on music, having sessions and stuff. He sees me and we say hi, dap it up, whatever. And then we're in my car because I'm about to take us to go to grab dinner. And he's like, hey bro, would it be cool if I take a video of you real quick? He's like, you have no idea how big like my sons are of you.
That's
and I was
so
like,
awesome.
oh shoot, of me? And so he just goes like, hey guys, look who I'm with. And he pans over to me and I'm like, hey y'all, it's me, Ronnie Boy. And so my producers, Mark Lawrence and Jericho Law, did Family, and we kind of wrote it tailored a little bit towards Jeremy's style. Like we wanted to make a track that he could sing R&B style on it, but we also wanted a feel good Family Matters, Full House type of vibe to it too. And so my producers like went to work on it and found a good way to incorporate both of our styles, like me as like a pop R&B singer and Jeremy as like an R&B kind of guy. And so it just worked out. It was interesting because he lives out of state now, like he's not in Cali anymore. And we would send each other stems, and when we were like writing together, like I would call him on the phone. We'd FaceTime together and stuff. And so we made it work. And we're both like really proud and happy with the result. So hopefully, everyone else likes it.
Did you record those calls?
Sounds amazing.
Did you record those calls and get that?
I record those calls?
I like BTS.
Yeah. I could probably show you some videos that he sent to me when he was first recording his vocals. And he was sending me like, hey, Ronnie, I just worked on this right now. Let me know what you think. And he would literally record his monitor and play what he sent me, and it sounds so good, dude. Like when he first started sending me stuff, I was like, yo, this track is gonna be crazy, bro. Because Jeremy is really freaking talented, and more than anything, like getting to know him the past several years, especially when it came down last month, and we spent like 6 hours together, like talking, eating, chopping it up, and really getting to know each other. I realized he is one of the coolest guys on this whole planet.
Nice.
He is literally one of the coolest guys, and I think if you guys knew him like that, you would agree. He'd be like, wow, he's for real. Like he's super cool, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's probably saying the same thing about you. He's
I
like,
don't
oh
know,
man,
maybe.
he's a star in my kid's eyes. I better make a good impression on him. You know?
Oh man, that would be great if he does, you know. So I'm just
Dang.
happy that we actually just made it happen. Same with all the other collabs that I have on the album. Like I think prior to this one, if you notice in my other 2 albums, I don't really have collabs at all. I had one collab with another Filipino artist, Mr. Cookie Jar, on Good Day.
Yeah, the rapper. Yeah.
But other than that, like I think before, I don't know if it was an ego thing or what, but I was like, I don't need anybody. I just do my own thing and do my own song, my own way, kind of thing. But then I wanted like Mr. Cookie Jar and this other Filipino artist named Little Miss Ann from Chicago asked me to be on a track called Calamansi Twist. And it was my, you know, and another track called Jump Into the Water. And it was my first time collabing, like with other, like not on my own tracks and going on their tracks. And like when I did it, I was like, oh, this is actually like really fun, you know? And so I opened my heart to it. And on my new album, I have like 5 different collabos.
There you go.
You know, with Jeremy Passion, Mega Ran, who's I think from like Arizona or something. Uncle Jumbo, I think is from Texas. Davey and Peter are from New York. And so like I have people, like all the collabs are from out of state people.
Wow.
And we somehow graciously like made it happen. And I'm so happy I did, because my tracks like with the collabs are so much better because they're on it. You know, they still would have been hot tracks like by itself, but like with them on it, I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like it took it to like the next level, you know?
Yeah.
Does the collaborations take you to the next level as well in terms of as an artist?
I think so, because it does, one, it does make the track sound better, like I just said, but also like, in terms of exposure, it exposes me to their fan bases. Like Jeremy Passion has 1.4 million monthly listeners on Spotify. And all the other ones like Mega Ran, I think has 100K, and his fan base is more nerdcore rap. Like, cause that's his main style. Like he released the debut children's album last year, but he's mainly, before that, it was just like Mortal Kombat, like video game, his name is Mega Ran, like Mega Man.
Yeah.
But it's just video
like
game rap. He does stuff for WWE. Like he's been on soundtracks of like movies and stuff like that. So like all these people are hearing like my music with my song with him that otherwise probably never would have found me, you know? And so it was a good idea to do a track with him, because it actually got on a Spotify editorial playlist on new children's music or something like that playlist.
Whoa.
Yeah, with John Legend and all the other big ones like The Wiggles and Super Simple Songs and Coco Melon, and then there's Ronnie Boy Kids. Like I was like the 3rd song when I got on this playlist with huge hitters, and I was like, wow, they mess with me. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm Filipino. We
Wow.
coming up.
There we go.
Coming up. Recognize no. But yeah. So again, like collabos are good because it exposes you to a new audience, and they're just like fun in general. And everyone I collabed with are people I met and I know personally.
So that's good. So there's like a personal touch there.
Yeah, so there's no randos on this. I only work with people who I know personally and who I think are dope.
Nice.
You know?
Well, that family song with Jeremy Passion is so smooth. Like the harmonies are like so on point. I'm surprised that you guys weren't in the same room recording that, because it just sounds so like flawless, honestly.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
But you know, you mentioned Mega Ran and how he used to, now he does children's songs, but he used to do nerdcore rap.
He still does, but he released a whole children's album like last year, and it was on the ballot at the Grammys too, much like mine as well. And and that's how we met. I stumbled across his album, and I was like, yo, this guy's doing something different, because I thought I was doing different stuff. But I came across him, and I'm like, yo, this guy's so dope. And so I had to email him, and then he listened to my album, and he's like, yo, you caught me at a good time, man, because I just listened to your stuff, and it's really hot, you know? And he's like, after this Grammy campaigning stuff is done, we should link up and do a song. And so that was literally less than 12 months ago, and then we finally made it happen.
Rest is history.
Yeah.
So I bring them up because you kind of had a little bit of a rebranding of your own. You went from one style to another. Before you were Ronnie Boy Kids, you were going by Ron Velvet.
Ron Velvet, and only the OGs know Ron Velvet.
Yeah, and then I think during that, I mean, you're still an actor, right? So you've had a couple of pivots in your career. So my question is, how did you go from singing R&B love songs to becoming Ronnie Boy Kids and doing that? And did you have any hesitations or any kind of like fears with making that switch? Like how was that for you?
Absolutely. So I guess the shortest way I could put it is, as you know, I was doing Ron Velvet pop R&B music since 2019. I put out an EP, which you guys, Traklife, hosted my album release party. That was great. And then COVID happened, and it kind of put a stunt on like what I was doing, because I was making club bangers, and if all the clubs are closed for like 2-3 years, how are they supposed to who's gonna listen to my music? It doesn't
Good
make sense when you're
point.
at home on the couch and cozied up, you know. And so I went through a period where I only dropped like 2 singles, I think, when COVID was happening, and not getting anybody to really like listen to me, you know. And so I stopped doing music. And then one day I came across like Blippi. I don't know if you
Oh
know
yeah,
him.
Hazel talks about Blippi a lot.
Yeah, he's really big on YouTube, mainly for his vlogs, not so much his music. But I looked at it and I was like, wow, I think I could do this, you know. But also, like, even before that, I auditioned for Blue's Clues for the host. It ended up going to Josh De La Cruz, another fellow Filipino. Hey.
Hey.
And yeah, but even going through that whole process, Nickelodeon liking me, bringing me into the studio, auditioning in front of their, you know, casting and producers and stuff. I knew at that point, like, oh, I could talk to kids, like, and I'm good at this, you know. Even if I didn't book it, I just knew, you know, like I have something special. Like, I've always been cool with my little cousins when I was younger, and now that I'm an uncle, like, my nephews and my niece love me because I'm cool, Uncle Ron, you know. And so because I was doing pop R&B stuff that wasn't all necessarily appropriate for little kids, I wanted to make something that they could listen to. And that they wouldn't have to, like, their parents wouldn't have to scan to make sure I'm not
like
cursing in it, you know?
Yeah.
Or the subject matter wasn't bad. And so, yeah, that's when we did stuff like I Like Your Hair, the cleanup song and everything. And so it was nice, even to, because I even involved them in my music. They're in I Like Your Hair. They're in my music videos. But yeah, before we launched it, like, I did have some hesitation because I was like, oh shoot, what if people find my music, you know? But like my R&B stuff, that's like inappropriate. So I did remove like a couple of tracks that were probably a little inappropriate, you know? Yeah. In retrospect, I don't even know if I had to do that because, like, you know, Snoop Dogg has a children's album that people love, you know, and like there's a lot of artists out there who have stuff that maybe not be acceptable for, you know, appropriate for children, but, you know, they're still releasing children's albums, you know.
True.
So it is what it is, but I definitely was hesitant, and so I created a brand new brand as Ronnie Boy Kids, you know.
Got it.
So I mean, speaking of like hesitation and being that you're Filipino, how did your parents take it in terms of this shift in your career?
I think they loved it. And I think mainly because they could see their grandkids in my videos and hear them in the songs, honestly.
So they think you're just filming home videos.
Yeah, and they love it. And I even involved them too. I released a song called Grandma, the Lola song. Yeah. And so I have my Lola in it with me. And she's so proud of that video. She's like, people in the Philippines, I'm popular. They're watching me. Like, she's like famous, you know? And people do watch it. Like, I have a show that's Ronnie Boy Kids on TFC, the Filipino channel that streams not just in the Philippines but globally. And just last Thursday, like, my mom said, your Tita Pressy texted me because they played Grandma, my grandma video on TFC. So yeah, so it airs every Thursday. And it's
global now.
Yeah, you know.
So it's a TV show?
Yeah, so it's a block. It's called TFC's like Kids Zone.
Okay.
And so there's my show, Ronnie Boy Kids, and there's also like an animated series on there, and like some like maybe 1 or 2 other shows that are on there. And there's this like block of children's content.
Oh, wow.
Because apparently it was very successful like last year when they started it, and so they were looking elsewhere. And then I guess I think Nino might have been, he was one of the people that shouted me out and referred me to ABS-CBN. They checked out my content. They loved it. They reached out to me. And then for the past like 3-4 months, we were going back and forth, you know, contracts, sending each other videos once I agreed to do it. And I got my own show on the Filipino channel. So thank you for
How much?
How much?
We talked about I'm a millionaire now. So there's that. I'm just kidding.
Amen.
You know what I mean? So. Yeah,
dude, that's awesome. I love that this is going so well for you. It sounds like you definitely found like your lane. Like this is what you're good at. This is what you're meant to do. Of course, the sky's the limit for you, of course. But what you're doing right now with the kids music and being on TFC and all that good stuff, man, I'm really proud of you, dude. This is awesome.
Thank you so much. It's like it's cool to see like hard work finally like paying off. You know, like before, even when I first started, like even within the first 3 months, where I would get like maybe 1,000 views on my YouTube videos, to me that's a lot, and it still is, because every view counts. You know, as long as someone hears it or sees it, and some kid gets affected by what I'm putting out there, I'm like happy already. So the fact that it's grown like pretty exponentially like since then, like that just blows my mind, you know? I don't do it for the numbers, but looking at the numbers makes me go, oh my gosh, you know? Like we hit 70,000 monthly listeners on Pandora. YouTube Kids features me all the time on their app. Because YouTube has a separate app for children, and they feature me every time I release a new music video.
So my kids are responsible for like half those views.
The majority of the time.
Yeah, but they playing it everywhere. Even Burger, it's like that has like over I think 600,000 or 700,000 streams on Pandora alone. But if you count like Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere, it's like well over like a million. It's in the millions, you know.
Yeah, and we were briefly touching on like the social media usage of Burger. Yeah. Like it's in so many reels and like TikToks and things like that. That must be blowing your mind right now how popular that song has gotten.
It still does like blow my mind, but I think what blew my mind was just seeing people from other countries using it in their IG reels and their TikToks, because I was just like, how do they even find my song? And it's because they play my songs a lot, like on Pandora and everywhere else, you know, and on YouTube. So it's interesting just to see people in Japan, Australia, Germany, you name it, and to see people like make funny videos to my stuff is hilarious. And I can't even go through all of it, because I think if you add like pictures and video, like, and look at like IG reels and stuff, it's like probably over 30,000. And I'm like, how am I supposed to watch all 30,000 pictures and video? How am I supposed to see all that? That's a lot, you know? But the ones I have come across are like hilarious. Like people are like make dances to it and use it in funny ways where it's not even necessarily about burgers, but they're got like dancing or twerking. No, I don't know. But they just do what they do to my song. And so
a lot of the beats that you use are twerkable. I will say that. I can definitely see it. Yeah,
they do have the claps.
Yeah.
But you know, however you receive my music is cool.
There you go. However you interpret it, the way your body moves involuntarily.
As long as you're listening, I'm happy. You know?
Exactly. Get that money. Get your bag.
You want to jump into some rapid fire? This
or that?
Oh,
let's go. Go.
I'm good at rapid fire.
All right, so obviously we're on the millennials, and we're obviously highlighting Filipino culture, and since you have a big background on that,
Kai. I'm just kidding, go ahead.
It's like Kai or NSYNC.
Ooh, Kai or NSYNC.
Okay. Come on.
Come on now. I love Kai though, Filipino pride.
Hey, let's go.
Adobo or sinigang?
Adobo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sinigang.
Jollibee or McDonald's?
Is Jollibee I want a brand deal, so I love Jollibee. I love McDonald's. Honestly, I do. I love McDonald's. It's bad, but I love it. But Jollibee is great if you want to sponsor me.
What's your McDonald's go-to order?
Double cheeseburger and the 6-piece nugget, because sometimes they have deals if you have the McDonald's app.
Hey, save that money.
Or you get buy one get one free sometimes, depending on the city.
There you go.
Dance or karaoke? Ooh, this one's a tough one.
That's a great one, especially because I'm a singer, you know. But honestly, dancing hit me very differently when we were dancing in college. For 909 Hip Hop Dance Troupe, they rebranded to 909 Dance Troupe, but like, there's something about, just about the way music affects your body, even, you know? Honestly, it's both. I love to sing also, but dancing is just like, it's just different. Huh? Yeah, it's just different, you know? And it's hard to explain sometimes even, you know, but I just love dancing. It's just so fun. Even though I can't do it like I was in my early 20s, like 21, 20 years old, but like I still love it and I can still feel it through my body, even though I'm not doing it as often, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Are you an early bird or night owl? I know this one.
Do you?
I've lived with him for like 5 years.
Probably a night owl, but then I could be an early bird too, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Winter or summer? Yeah, that's a tough one.
Summer. I love summer. Yeah.
Right.
Summer's fun. But winter's cool because you get to wear cool jackets. Jean jackets, you know what I'm saying? Looking fly.
Show off all your gear.
Yeah, I mean.
Exactly.
Your fly gear.
Brunch or dessert?
Brunch. And it's because I'm pre-diabetic, so I can't really eat desserts.
Are you?
Yeah.
I got
It'd be the people that you least expect.
Yeah, I got tested recently, but I didn't get my labs yet. But then, I gave up sweets for like about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I lost 30 pounds in 3 months. It's because I drastically reduced my sugars and my carbs.
Wow. You know what? When Ronnie Boy came in, I was like, "Damn, you looking like a 25-year-old right now." It's something about him. Like he's glowing.
Because I am.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. He's 26, but he looks 25.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that's really interesting that you just changed your diet, and I just see like you look so healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
dramatic results.
Good. It's good.
Thank you.
I know the answer to this. Well, maybe not really.
Go for it.
But I think for our audience who, let's say they want to pursue the same thing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you've gone through a lot of different jobs to get to this point. And I like asking artists this, is like, what are all the jobs that got you here? Or like even like the high school jobs that you hated, like that obviously was a stepping stone to get to where you were.
Correct. I think if I had to choose maybe two,
okay,
right, that helped get me here. My first job ever, I was 16. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese's in Corona.
That's what I was hoping you'd answer with.
Yeah. And the thing is, like with that job, like I was a newbie and they make all the newbies wear the Chucky outfit.
Yes.
And so I had to be Chucky often. And sometimes we did this thing where we'd gather a bunch of kids and we would make a circle and then we would do this dance together. And there's a part in it where they go Chucky, go Chucky. Yeah. And you have to go in there and you have to freestyle dance.
Yes.
In the Chucky outfit.
Yes. And when you first do it, you're like, oh my God. Especially if you don't really dance that often. Yeah. It's just, even if you do dance, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm freestyling in front of like a bunch of kids and I'm in an outfit and it's like, but you don't have a choice. You have to do it. It's part of the job.
It's your job.
Yeah. You know, so that helped me like get rid of nerves maybe in front of dancing in front of like normal people, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, and then the second job that helped get me here is honestly just working for corporate. So my last job I worked at Disney, ABC Television Group, and what helped get me here was realizing that I didn't want to work at a corporate job anymore.
That's real.
Yeah. So everything led to where I am now. You know, knowing what you like and knowing what you don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
Hey, that's real though. I think everyone needs a taste of that corporate job.
Yeah.
To know if it's for them or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, that's usually like the not cliffhanger, but the turning point of
correct
whether someone wants to pursue what they want to do or stick around for the check.
And that's the importance of just trying new things all the time and just figuring out what you like and what you don't like, you know? And yeah. Pursuit of happiness.
There you go. A paycheck isn't everything.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Ronnie Boy Kids, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us. Congratulations on your new album, Ronnie Boy Land.
Yeah.
And let the people know how they can find you and your music.
Sweet. You can find me everywhere at Ronnie Boy Kids. I'm on Instagram, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube. I do a lot of YouTube videos, so check me out on there. Or on the Filipino channel by ABS-CBN. Salamat.
Salamat. Awesome. Erv, any closing words?
No, man. This was a fun episode. I'm glad we finally got Ron on to talk about the new project.
Finally.
Yeah.
I mean, the project was super dope, so I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Definitely.
Sweet.
So everybody stream Ronnie Boy Land now. Follow Ronnie Boy Kids on all social media platforms and also follow the Fillennials at the.Fillennials. Also listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. I almost made my new streaming platform, Apple Spotify. And be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and rate because it really helps us out. Thank you, Erv. Thank you, Ronnie Boy Kids, for coming. And you guys, we'll catch you on the episode. Bye.
Bye.